Okay.
Got him.
Fucking prick.
Cool feature, huh?
Oh yeah, that's great.
Spotlight.
Yeah, why don't you point it in this direction? I want the sight here still.
Like your laser eye.
Oh,
You're good.
okay. So so I was back at my place and I was eating this girl out, and at one point, in the midst of it, she tells me she's a little hairy down there, and I tell her, don't worry, I dropped a lollipop on carpet flooring before, and I picked it back up, and I've eaten it, so it's a-okay. I've done my fair share of, some would call it hedge trimming.
Oh my god.
Others would say welcome to the jungle, or the urban jungle. You know, all of that happens. I've also learned that playing with bigger breasts, sometimes it's like when you're trying to figure out the shifter in a vehicle. It's different. Sometimes there's different settings. Or it's like the case of you're cold, warmer. Like you did it. I remember as a guy who grew up in New York and lived out in Florida for about 4 years. I remember being out here for like about a year, and I met one of the more country gals out here. We were talking, and I had told her I was like originally from the city, and she was like, "Ooh, you're one of those city boys." And we eventually we got back to her place and we did it, and she was just like, I've always wanted to try a city boy. In the midst of it, I'm thinking like, is this like the white chicks that have always wanted to try a BBC? Is that the same feeling? Maybe she's got it on with some the guys out here, and they're like, I don't know where the clitoris is. Meanwhile, I'm already in there, and she's like, how do you know what to do so good? It's like I watched a prostitute get it from the back. Get a grand slam from back in an alley. When I talk about a grand slam, I'm not talking about the Denny's menu item. No, Denny's is not sponsoring this thing, but if they wanted to sponsor me, you should give me a call. Could use a sponsorship. Those types of diners, that's where the craziest shit happens. I remember my first time at a Waffle House. Me and my buddy were like baked out of our minds, and he was like, dude, we should go somewhere to eat. And I'm like, they've got a Waffle House down the street. So we get in there, and we're sitting, and you can tell we're like beat red and everything, and like when someone's high, the slightest inconvenience will just make them giggle. And when I giggle, I sound like Donald Duck sometimes. Like, it gets really bad. Well, at one point, while we're waiting for our food to come out, we see this couple start to argue, and we think nothing of it because we're just baked out of our minds. And the next thing you know, they're outside in the parking lot, and they're starting to fight. And we hear this girl say, "Who's this bitch?" Yada yada yada. Well, at one point, this dude like grabs her hair and pops it off.
My weave. No.
And the weave comes out. My friend, in his infinite high wisdom, looks at her and says that, and he says that looks like a black ball sack. And we just start like giggling like crazy. And the chick comes back in, and we start to giggle more. And I look at him, and I was just like, no, that's Jada Smith. And she must have heard it or something, and she looks over at us, and she was like, what are y'all looking at? And we just start laughing even more, and she was just like, yo, white boys need some respect, yada, 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 yada. And my friend was just like, alopecia. Safe to say, we got our food to go, and
Yeah, Big Willie's gonna lay the smack.
we were worried about her boyfriend coming over and being like, keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. And that, and my response would be, what, you want me to keep fucking your wife, Ken? I'll tell you, I tell him, sir, I'm a professional gardener. If you want me to plant thy seed, I got you covered. Should have me in a Home Depot commercial. Gardener of the Year, this guy. But you know, it's crazy with stuff like that. Like I was going through some older videos, and I remember that time that Arnold Schwarzenegger had an affair with his I believe it was his maid, and it took them like about 10 to 14 years to figure out that it was that this kid was his. And it's just like, does the big Austrian head and the "get to the chopper now" is that not enough of an indicator to make you think that maybe this is you know, your guy? Like, I don't know, I'd be asking questions a lot sooner. I wouldn't, you know, that's like if I, you know, like if I got on with someone who's married and their kid comes out and they've got a lazy eye on the other side of their face and they're like, no, wait a minute. And then they start saying motherfucker and cocksucker, and they're like, wait a minute, wait a goddamn minute. I know that guy. He's the pool boy. It's not as tan as he is. Then he tells you that crypto is actually a good investment. It's just like, Jimmy McMahon, you motherfucker. You should buy Ethereum high and sell it low. Or buy Ethereum. Dogecoin is the hottest thing since steam hams. Meme talk for those who don't know, steam hams.
Seven.
Alright, that's all for tonight. Thank you.
Thanks all for watching. Good shit, Jimmy. Peace out, guys.